Once you finish the campaign and reach level 60, a new type of game unlocks. If you're not level 60 yet, check out the description for some tips on leveling and getting to 60 once the story ends.
What's even the point of the endgame?
For me, the point of the endgame in Diablo 4 is to get better loot and gear and see how far I can push my character until I get bored and try another class, or get bored and play other games. My goal is to be able to clear everything on Torment 4 before I move on. In the past, there had been very little variety after reaching max level. Vessel of Hatred brought an entirely new progression system that spreads the different ways to improve your character around many different activities. You have the new seasonal event called Realmwalkers, the giant open world monster spewing portal demon, the Cursed Undercity, the new time-gated target farming dungeon, the Dark Citadel, the 4-person raid, and then of course all the other activities from previous seasons like Nightmare Dungeons, the Pit, Infernal Hordes, Boss Ladders, Hell Tides, and certainly last but not least anymore, the Tree of Whispers. Now your build will consist of gear stats, legendary powers, tempers, uniques, maybe mythic uniques, runes, masterworking, and mercenaries. Now if you don't like to follow build guides, that's fine. I'd be impressed if you managed to clear Torment 4 by raw dogging the season. Otherwise, pick a build on max roll, mobalytics, icy veins, whatever you prefer. I'll put some links into the description. Alright, now that you're ready to roll, make sure that you're always using an Opal from the Realmwalkers, an Elixir, and Incense as consistently as you can because the XP buffs stack from all three of these. So first, make sure you've done the seasonal questline called Deeds of a Champion. Doing this will get you started on all the different activities and will reward you with 6 legendaries to get you started, so you should have enough gear and power to move to Torment 1. In order to unlock Torment 1, you need to go to Cerrigar and complete a pit level 20. If you're having any trouble, make sure you have the proper tempers on your gear as it's still cheap to do this, but don't worry too much about enchanting the perfect gear stats quite yet. You can also look up what powers you're shooting for directly from the Codex, and if the item can be obtained by running a certain dungeon, just open up the Codex and click on the power and it will mark the dungeon on your map for you. So you're playing in Torment 1 and your next goal naturally should be Torment 2, unlocked by completing level 35 of the pit. To round out your build, you will most likely need at least a couple of unique items. These can be farmed efficiently using 2 methods. First, gamble your Opals on whatever item slot you're looking for. Pit runs and events around the world provide a bunch of Opals each run. The second method, depending on what you're looking for, will be to kill a certain boss on the boss ladder. Most of the guides out there will tell you which boss you need to kill for each item. You get the boss summon materials from multiple places. The best are by working through the season journey, going to the Cursed Undercity and using a tribute of the Titan, and good old Hell Tides. And just real quick, if you like this type of to-the-point, concise content, considering hitting that like and subscribe button. Alright, so moving on. Once you get the proper gear pieces to fill out your build, you're going to want to look for certain runes. You may have these already just from playing the game, but if not, there are a couple ways I recommend getting runes. The first is the Cursed Undercity. By now you probably have at least one Tribute of Harmony, and that will ensure that a bunch of runes drop once you complete the run. And the other is from the boss ladders, especially if you're doing a rotation, because you get 1 rune from every kill. So if you have enough for say 4 summons and you have a group of 4, that's 16 boss kills and 16 runes to add to your collection. So now you should be feeling a little stronger and be looking at moving into Torment 3. You do this by completing a pit level 50, and you're going to be looking to upgrade your normal item level 750 and below legendary gear to item level 800 Ancestral Legendary gear, which will always have at least 1 greater affix. And just like always, you hope that these drop from basically every activity that drops loot, but you are guaranteed to get at least 1 from every Infernal Horde run that you do, assuming that you get at least 200 ether, which shouldn't be a problem. Whenever you get an Infernal Horde key, you should just use it. Although you can't just spam them like you used to be able to, you should have enough to just, do them as you get them, and you should have enough for whenever you need to go in there. So the last piece to the gear puzzle is masterworking your items. The best place to get the materials to do this is the Infernal Hordes as mentioned previously, and Nightmare Dungeons. So again, spam your Infernal Horde keys as you get them, and when you do a Nightmare Dungeon, make sure you explore every nook and cranny, including chests and breaking stuff, as opposed to just blasting right by them. Your Mercenaries will also add to your build, and your build guide should give you a recommended combo to go with. If you're pushing, you definitely want to look at this. Now if you're just out farming, it's hard to ignore Sumo, as he gives an awesome map hack that shows all monsters, resource nodes, etc. And it makes it very handy for farming farming resources, and honestly it's hard to go back to anything other than using him. Alright, let's talk about the Tree of Whispers. You fill up your Tree of Whispers bar very quickly now, and almost every activity in the world can count towards your reward. And I'm not kidding when I tell you this, but these Whisper turn-ins now are absolutely ridiculous. They drop loot and resources and materials and stuff for like 10 to 15 seconds. I hope it doesn't get nerfed. It's really awesome. So anyway, keep referencing your build guide, keep upgrading your gear by looking for greater affix legendaries and uniques. Perhaps you get a mythic unique, and keep leveling up your Paragon board. I've actually ran into issues myself now that I have most of my gear that I need, but it doesn't all quite work yet because I'm missing just basically Paragon points, Paragon nodes. So make sure you do that. Make sure you kind of do all of the activities. And speaking of mythic uniques, you can now turn in 2 resplendent sparks and 50 million gold to get a random mythic unique, or you can turn in 2 sparks plus a combination of different runes to pick out which mythic unique you want.
Now you do this at the blacksmith or the jeweler respectively.
The latter method, the rune requirements are rather hefty, so I don't really see this as a great way to get the mythic unique that you want until you've put some time into the season and have like a bunch of runes laying around. So you do get 1 spark by completing the season journey, and you're supposed to get 1 from killing your first tormented boss or Uber Lilith. This did not happen for me as it was bugged at the time, but I believe it's been fixed. You can also get them by salvaging any other mythic unique that might drop if you don't plan to use that one. But that's really about it, guys. Just keep testing out your punch as you add new gear pieces, unlock more nodes, and upgrade your glyphs. You get more greater affix items, you enchant your gear, masterwork your gear, all of that stuff. A good way to test out your punch is by changing the difficulty of the pit, and it will tell you where the breakpoints are. So like when you scroll down to pit level 50, it'll say Torment 3 in parentheses. So that's kind of like the baseline Torment 3.
All right, and the last couple of things you won't want to forget is to keep checking back with the seasonal reputation vendor, as you can get a lot of good things from those caches. Also, don't forget to check in with the Pale Marks vendor. You can get different caches full of materials, boss summons, different item types, etc. And you get this currency just by using and leveling up your mercenaries.
So jump in there. If it's too tough, just get out. You have plenty of materials, and add some more pieces. Get a little bit stronger before you try to go in again.